to the Athletes in Motion podcast, from race to recovery, with your hosts, Tom Riegel and Kenny Bailey.
Hey, Kenny, how you doing?
I am fantastic, Tom. How are you?
I am fantastic as well. We were back with Brandon, on part of our triathletes journey. We're checking back in with Brandon. When we last left our hero, he was training for Chattanooga 70.3, right? Brandon,
Yep.
welcome back. We're understanding that there's some story to be told here. So let's go back to where we left off. Training was going good. Things
Yes,
were happening.
training was going awesome. I think I had just got out of camp and I was sick a little
That's
bit
right.
during camp, and
Yeah.
then from that point until up till the race, I was awesome. Training, I bounced back really quickly. Felt incredibly good going into Chattanooga.
And Chattanooga had good conditions.
Yes.
It did get a little hot, but it's always hot in Chattanooga.
Yep.
But other than that, the conditions were good. The river was moving.
Mhm.
So yeah, take us through the race. Take us through what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. So, morning of, everything, I wasn't nervous. I knew that, this was going to be a good race. I felt like it was going to be a good race. I felt very ready for it. I was expecting to PR the swim, obviously. Well, I've only done one other one, so I was expecting to be faster. Let's just say
Yes.
that than the year before.
Sure.
Faster on the bike, faster in the run, faster all around. My brother was there, so I was excited. My family was there. Some people that it was my brother's first time, so I was happy. I was excited. I was hyped, and
Sure.
I got there, and we did the swim. Got into my normal rhythm, 2 minutes per, and just went. And just mine is just get through the swim because I'm not fast. I just
Yeah.
go and let the current take me faster if it's going to take me faster. I was different from last year. I went really wide to the right. I was on the right last year, but I went on the other side of the buoys this time.
Further out. Okay.
To the point where the kayakers were like,
Get back.
move.
Get back.
Yeah, get
Been
back.
there.
You're like, I'm just chasing the current.
I'm just out here by myself, and I like it. And I kept having one person kind of do the zigzag right in front of me, and I had to stop me, like, what is going on?
Yeah.
They would come back, and then they go back, and then they come back, and they come back. It was just like, get out of my way. Just hold on a second. Let me get past you, and then we'll be good. And, it was a good swim. I felt really, really good getting out. I had just a quick, right before, there's a really high step coming out of Chattanooga, out of the water. You kind of swim up, and it's just, there's, the stairs coming out of the water. It's a really high step. And right when I did that, I kind of got a real quick cramp in the calf. And I was like, oh no, this is too early for this to be happening.
Yeah.
Right. But it worked itself out. They got me up out of on the stairs. And then as I ran, it worked itself out. I think it was just a quick, I was in a position for so long, for 40 minutes, that once I went to stretch it, it just kind of froze.
It just could. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the volunteers are great there. They yank you right out of the water because of that high step. So they're really good about pulling you up and getting you up there. But that flexion of the foot from really flexed to not, and putting a little pressure on it is enough to tweak a muscle up pretty quickly.
Yeah, it scared me for a second, and then, I knew maybe I'd work it out, and as soon as I got back to transition, drink my element, and just it'll work itself out.
Yeah.
Because that happened in camp. I had the same cramp kind of flare up real quick in camp and swimming, and eventually it worked itself out after getting some electrolytes in me and some sodium. But I felt really good. I was hydrated. My nutrition felt really good going into the race. Everything about it, I was ready. And even after the swim, I had a ton of energy. And felt like the heart rate never jumped during the swim.
Good.
The year before it did. When I got out,
great.
went vertical, the heart rate jumped on me. It didn't this time. Get on the bike and I'm cruising. Like I do a really quick transition. T1 was really, really much faster. Unfortunately, my transition was I had to run all the way through transition with the bike.
Yeah.
I was one of the early ones, so I came in, off the swim, and it's, how long that transition is with 3,000 bikes.
It's non-trivial. Yeah,
it's big. Yeah.
So it was a long run. I went ahead and just ran without my shoes. I was like, I'm going to put my shoes on, when I get down to the other end. And I did. And I got on the bike and I was just, I was ecstatic to be on the bike. I was excited. And I knew I need to hold back. I knew when I get like that, I'll just take off and I'll burn up. Right.
Kenny, sound familiar?
Yeah, every single race. Yeah, got it. Every single race.
We all do that. We all just like, yeah, I feel great.
Yeah,
Hammer.
And I restrained myself. I knew where I could be. And basically, heart rate wise, I was running by heart rate because I don't have power pedals on the tri bike. So first 26 miles, almost exactly 26 miles. I was averaging right around 20 miles an hour, just a little over 20 miles an hour.
Nice.
Which was, much higher than the previous. I was at 18.7 or something like that the year before.
Good.
So, and I felt really good. Like I was just up and down them. Like, it was no straining getting them. I wasn't bonked. I didn't have my heart rate never shot up.
Nice.
On a couple of the spikier ones, it did, but I recovered really quickly. So I knew I was in a really good. I just felt really, really good. And then Andrews came up. Obviously, when Andrews comes up, you more than likely are going to stand, and you're going to spike there. In Chattanooga, for people that don't know, it's kind of the midway point. It's considered kind of the halfway point. It's actually when you're going to turn around and start coming back to Chattanooga. And it's a spiky climb. Like it's a short climb, but it's spiky for what you've been doing. So and then right after that, it's a really good descent. And I climbed it really well. I didn't even really need to stand up. I was in the saddle pretty much the entire time, and I kept my power down, and I felt really good. And I was passing people. Like there wasn't, as far as me, how many people I had passed comparable to how many people had passed me, it was awesome. So I was just hyped. And then as I'm going down Andrews, 35 plus miles an hour, I hear a really loud pop. And the next thing is ding, 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 ding. And then pow, another really loud pop. Ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, what is going on? And then the dinging went away. But I noticed that I was like, as I was coasting my bike, first off, when it happened, my front wheel was just like, almost out of control. I was in aero and grabbed a hold of it and I stayed up.
Wow.
I stayed up the whole way. I totally, give it credit to my motocross skills on that one, because it was really drastic on how much the front wheel was shaking at that point.
Sure.
And then it kind of balanced out as I slowed down. It didn't shake as much. But I noticed that I was actually slowing down. Like I could feel like a jerking motion into the bike. And what had happened, I broke two spokes. On
the front wheel.
On the front wheel. And I didn't really know what to do about it. Looking back, there's several things I could do. I could have pulled the spoke out, maybe took a tool and opened the brake pads up or something to fix it. But I just kept going. And I'm like, I got to get through this. Like, I'm afraid if I stop, I'm not going to get back on the bike. Like, I'm going to look at this and I'm not going to get back on the bike, and my day's going to be over.
Yeah.
That's honestly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I just kept going, and it was a lot of power for not a lot of speed, because my front wheel did not want to move. It was very much like I was holding the front brake the entire time I was pedaling. And so I went from 20 miles an hour down to 14 miles an hour down to 11 miles an hour on the second two time mat splits. And I was probably,
and you're burning energy doing the whole time.
I was probably pushing out, 20 more watts, just trying to keep that pace up, or more, if not more,
probably more.
And by the time I got back into Chattanooga, climbing with that, just, there's another punchy climb that's
there's a
like
couple
that,
of them.
and just trying to climb with that break, and it's just, every time I coast, it was just, the bike wanted to stop.
Yeah.
And
so it's catching on every rotation.
Yeah.
So if anyone, I'm gonna say, so if anyone doesn't know what happens when the spoke breaks, is that the wheel goes out of true, which means that instead of being perfectly straight, it twists. It actually puts a little twist into it, which was rubbing against the brake. For those kids at home, you would stop.
Yes.
Brandon and I had this conversation.
It very well could have been catastrophic. It very well could have been catastrophic.
Yeah, you could have been.
Front wheel collapse is catastrophic.
You would have Supermaned it. Yeah, you would have been Supermaned.
At best, you'd be replacing your front teeth. At worst, you would be in the hospital in a neck brace or worse. Right. So so for people listening at home, the proper thing would have been to at least stop at the next aid station or stop somewhere and assess the damage to see how bad the wheel was tweaked. Because it just takes a little pop it takes one little pothole at that point to just completely fold that wheel up. There's tension on every single one of those spokes. And when you take two of them out of the equation, it goes completely wonky. So you were extremely fortunate.
Yep, I was fortunate in that sense.
Hard. But you blew yourself up too. The perseverance. I love the perseverance, and we respect you so much for that, and that your gumption to keep going and keep pushing through. And that's what an endurance athlete does. That's what a triathlete does. Is like, we figure out, let's just keep pushing. Let's just keep going, figure out, get through it. So you did that. That's great. That's fantastic.
It's very much a learning experience on the mechanical side of that, right? Like, like I felt that this was going so sideways so quickly that if I would have got off the bike, I would have been done.
Yeah,
I was
probably.
Just like, there's no way I can get back on this thing.
Yeah.
So I just kept going until I was like, it's gonna completely fall off and break on me, or and then
I did that in Oregon. I did the same stupid thing. My whole head unit literally came undone. So at every time I would try to go down, I hit a bump, my whole handlebars went up and went down.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And same thing, I was PRing the whole thing. And so I had to pull up and basically push down on it. I should have stopped, because if my handlebars could have literally fell off.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't.
But I had 10 miles to go. It's the same thing. It's like, you try to do this, like, I got 10 miles to go. Don't go above 15.
Yeah.
And just kind of hang on to it and hope to hell, because you're not, like you said, you're worried about nutrition, you're worried about cramps, you're worried about this, and all of a sudden two spokes go, you're like, wait a minute, where did that come from?
Yeah.
And then you're not, I think you're also, because you're in race mode, to your point, you're just like, can I get through this without dying? Okay. If I could do that, then I'll figure it out later. But anyway, that
was the biggest thought of my brain.
I get it though.
Can I get through this? Can I push through this and get back to T2? And as I got closer to T2, it's 30 miles. I still had 30 miles to go, and it was 30 miles like that. And as I got closer, when I got down to 10 miles, I was praying. The bike is my sport out of the three, and I was devastated, and I was just praying, and I could not get off that bike quick enough. Like, I was just ready for it to be over. I was exhausted. I went into this with I had some hospitalizations that I know I have a hernia from all my surgeries that I had. I was dealing with this hernia, and this thing blew it out. Like, I was pushing so hard on the pedals to keep it going that my stomach was on fire, the entire thing. I could tell there was swelling happening in my stomach from it. And I was just hoping not to get sick and like have to throw up or something, because I was still trying to stay hydrated. It was starting to warm up. It was already a little humid anyway on the bike, because it had rained that morning, and at least I think it rained somewhere in northern Georgia because everything was wet when we got out there in northern Georgia. So it felt humid.
Yeah.
So I pushed through it, and then as I got closer to T2 back into Chattanooga, I had every intention of just being done. I was exhausted. Like my legs did not want to move. My stomach was on fire. I mean, I was in a ton of pain in the stomach. And I got back to T2 and I walked. Like I got off the bike and I just walked. My legs, I felt like I had so much lactic acid in my legs that I'd been lifting for the last 2 hours, like just doing squats for 2 hours is what it felt like. And I walked all the way to my back to transition and just sat down, put my running shoes on, grabbed my stuff, and the emotions were just flooding over me at that point. I was so hyped, doing so well up to that. And I was on pace to beat my bike time by 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And
that's killer.
Well, that's a lot.
And I was flying, and then everything fell apart. And so the emotions came over me, like all this time I've spent training, and something that's actually out of my control happens. I felt like I would feel better if it was something in my control, like I didn't eat or drink enough or something. Then I know because it was something I could correct, but this wasn't something I could correct.
Yeah.
As I came out through transition, I saw my coach, and you could see like her face, like worry, because she saw she's watching my times, and it went from 20 to 14 to 11. She knew something drastically happened, like either I got a flat or something, and then as she saw me walk through transition, she knew that I was in a bad place at that point. And credit to her, she walked with me pretty much right out of transition, followed me along the fence line down by the river and up the hill for a while. And then I finally got up to there's like some overpasses, and I got under in some shade and just sat down, and I was just like, I don't think I can do this. I just kept telling myself, I don't think I can do this. And then I started thinking about just some conversations I had with people about quitting. Like I see, I've seen coaches and stuff that have clients, and then they go out and something happens to them, right? Like they have a flat or something. They just don't even fix the flat. They're just like, I'm done. And I think to me, that's kind of a bad, like a bad thing to do. Like I feel like the Ironman that's the reason why it's called an Ironman, is you try to persevere through everything, no matter how much pain you're in, how much bad stuff is thrown your way, you keep going. Like that's the prestige of the sport. It's supposed to hurt. It's not supposed to feel good, right? Like, I mean, you're doing something wrong if it's easy.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I feel. And I sat there and I had my little pity party on myself. Was upset, frustrated. And then finally told her, and she's like, you don't need to blow up your entire year, because at that point my stomach was just on knots and on fire and everything from, which eventually I had swelling in my intestines that was causing basically a bowel obstruction. And I said, I'm going to take it aid station by aid station. And I made it to the first aid. I walked all the way to the first aid station. It was 20 minutes. Walked to the second aid station, another 20 minutes. And I was like, I still have 3.5 hours. I can make this. Like I can walk this entire 13.1 and I'll make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started jogging, and I actually ended up having negative splits on my 13.1, because I once I got to the first aid station, I grabbed a little bit of Coke, got some I started getting more second winds, and I started jogging more. And there was a couple miles there where I was actually able to hold my pace down to like 11 minutes per mile, and which is still slow, but it was better than nothing. It's better than the 20 minutes per mile.
Yeah.
Forward is a pace. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing you do. I mean, forward is a pace. And what I think you just encapsulated everything that the mindset, which is, okay, I know it's a long run. It's 13 miles. It's not. It's just, let's just get to the next aid station, check it out. And then it's okay. I made that one. let's get to the next one, check it out. Right. And I think that allows yourself to calm down a little bit, show progress. Right.
Yep.
Okay, I made it to that one. And then, like you said, be able to get some fuel and kind of reassess. And with you, obviously, if you're because of your sensitivity, I mean, you have to measure that, right? So you don't wind up in an ER room. But if you're physically starting to come back, then allow yourself to do that. I guess it's not how you feel at mile 1 may not be how you feel at mile 10.
And that was for sure the case. I mean, at mile 10, I felt much better, and I think I saw Tom at mile 6 or something like that.
It was around 6.
Yeah, because around 6, and he's asked me if I was on my second loop, and I was like, no.
Thanks, Tom.
I was like, no.
I just assumed you'd be out there. Yeah.
My brother passed me, and he asked me, saying, he's like, "You on the second loop?" I was like, "No, I'm barely making." But I did break it down once I got over myself of just kind of feeling sorry for myself, and which is part of the emotion of the whole thing, right? And almost that why me stuff pops into your brain, like, why did this happen to me? I've done so well, and then all of a sudden this just throws me for a whole nother loop that I didn't even know was going to exist. And just broke it down, like you said, aid station by aid station. I was like, I can make it to this next one, I can make it to this next one, I can make it to this next one, and I did that in the entire 13.1, and I ended up, like I said, negative splitting it through pretty much the whole thing. And I finished. It's like 8:09, I think, is what I finished in, which is slower than the year before. But I had a lot more. I had adversity in the year before, but this one was even compounded. So, but much earlier in the race.
Yeah.
There's a bit of pressure, I think, when you're trying to do the PR. Like, you feel good, the PR is there, right, and like you were on pace, and then you get to that realization that either you didn't fuel right or you had a mechanical or whatever else, and you're still trying to cling on to that, and the stress and the pressure of doing that. And then it seems kind of a weird, at least for me, there's a switch. It's like, okay, like I had a calf problem on the half where, after 4 miles, that was it. I was forced to walk. The soleus was just, and I'm like, okay, then you flip a switch. Like, okay, well, PR is no longer an issue, right? I'm still going to finish. So let's just see what we can do and have a good time doing it, right? And it's that, once you let go of it, that's the point. Because I think on the bike it sounds like you were trying like hell to just like, I know, like, how do I salvage this? How do I salvage this? How do I salvage this? And then once you just release yourself, I'm like, okay, that's not going to be a PR for me. I'll fight for another day. Let's just figure out how to get through this and be done. Then it becomes a little bit, I think, mentally easier as well.
Yeah, I think that obviously there's a certain point where you have to accept it. Like, you have to accept that this is
where did you do that
today.
Was it like mile 10 into the mechanical, or did you still?
No,
it was past mile 6 on the run. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
This is when he finally accepted it.
It was way past mile 6. It was probably mile 10.
I was way into the run when I actually accepted that this isn't going to happen. Like, because I was upset. Like, I was just,
I get it.
And I think that's just a learning thing. Part of it, I think that's just something you have to learn how to accept early. I don't think that's something that, because the competitiveness in me is just so high. Like, I can't stand being slow.
That's why we do that.
It's very frustrating to see, because like I had in one of the first podcasts with I was good at everything I'd done in my youth, and ranked in everything that I did in some sort of a national fashion, and to come into something and be humbled that I'm not probably ever going to be at that point it's hard. And but I compete with myself, and for that it was just hard for me to accept that this wasn't going to happen this time, especially knowing what my paces were. I was doing long bricks. I was doing very long bricks. I was doing the full 50-mile rides with 2-hour runs. So I was pretty much doing the bike and the run. It was, I knew my pace was going to be good, and for it to just be blown up, it was hard to accept. And it took me a long time to do it, but I finally did.
That needs to be a learned skill. I mean, because that happened, like Ironman California, I was going to be a sub-6 bike ride easily. I was trained up for it. I was going for it. You get out there, it's a 40-mile-an-hour headwind. And it doesn't matter what I'm going to do. I'm not getting above 12.5 miles an hour on the way back. It's just, or I'll blow up completely. And so at some point you're like, okay, and it took me 7 hours to do what I should have done in 5:45.
Yeah.
And it was like, and nothing wrong, nothing happened. It wasn't a fuel thing. It wasn't a training thing. It wasn't a mechanical. It's just, God decided to make a 40-mile-an-hour headwind. And it's like, and you have to just like, okay, I'm going 12. That's it. I mean, that's it. I mean, try to do something on the run, but that's it. And that acceptance helped me quite a bit because I'm hyper competitive. I'm the same way. I'm going to get out there like a little excited bunny and try to crush the thing. And then that's the point where once you finally like, I can't control this, and I can try to brute my way through it, but that's going to yield very bad things. So you just sort of have to throw it away and go, okay, well, what can I do in the condition that I got?
Yeah, so, I believe that's a learned thing too. So, I think that's
just
something
from experience. The more you do it, the more you'll get that way. You'll get to a point where you'll be able to step back to, instead of being in the moment, you'll be able to step back a little bit to almost a 30,000, foot height, look at it and go, okay, let me look at all the training that's happening. And this is one little blip. Oh, well, it's when you pull out and look back at it, this one little anomaly really doesn't even add up in the training and everything else you're doing. And you just go, okay, it wasn't in the cards today. This is the conditions that we were given, or the mechanical is completely out of your control.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it is what it is. It's no indication that your training wasn't there or anything else. It's disappointing. It's super disappointing. But you live to fight another day. You just go, hey, okay, we'll just pull that anomaly.
Yeah, I get. If I'm missing a PR because of stupidity, right? Because I didn't, I knew I was supposed to fuel better and I didn't, or that kind of thing. That what makes me more mad if I'm going to miss something because I did something stupid, right? One of my first halves, I figured if a little bit of scratch would be good, a lot of scratch would be better. And I couldn't drink it because it was so sweet and terrible. So I dehydrated myself completely. That's an idiot move on my part. And that's what I'm mad at myself. But if it's a mechanical or nature or, a storm, whatever, it's outside of my control. You kind of got to go, well, crap, this is what they gave us. So, if it's white caps in the water, it's like, all right, this is what it is, and then try to accept it. But the stuff within your control, I get much more upset when I do stupid things. Like, why just stop for a second, think about what you're doing. You're training, trust your training, trust who you did that. So I think it's heroic that, stupidity at the front, but, heroic that you did it. And stupidity just because that was dangerous and stupid, but it was but you persevered it, but and that things. So that's your for your next one. Now, like you said, you stack this up. The key lesson on this one is you can't solve a mechanical, but now you have it in you to know that you've been in that valley, and you know that, okay, I can get out of that valley, and you know that you can finish despite what's going on, but just remember that, okay, I got to just flip that switch sooner so I can just kind of relax myself and kind of go with whatever it's given me. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. I think I probably would have actually done a little better, if I would have accepted it earlier. Right. Instead of fighting the feelings and then even so after the race, I had a crash of emotions. You have that hype and you're doing well, and then all of a sudden that happens, and then afterwards there's always that natural, like, okay, the race is over, and you kind of have a little bit of a crash afterwards. But I had even more of a, because I wasn't feeling well. I ended up being in the hospital for 3.5 days after the race because of the bowel obstruction that it ended up causing. And so emotionally, I just almost like a depression in a way for a few days. And then I started really thinking about my racing when I was a kid. Motocross stuff happens. Like, there's national races where my ignition wire got burnt in two because it touched my muffler, and I'm running the bike across the finish line, and I ended up disqualifying out of the state race because of it. And it's part of racing, right? Racing, there's so many variables. For it to be a good day, all of it has to go right.
There's a stupidity. There's a stupidity from us on triathlons, right? Because you gotta, think about that, right? We're doing 3 complete sports, like any one of those 3 areas, right? Your wetsuit blows up, your swim goes bad, right? And you still got a whole mechanical on the bike, and then if you run, you step wrong on a rock, and then all of a sudden, it's just that's what makes it glorious and fun when you do it. It makes it so frustrating when, like, out of the 18 things have to go right before that thing lands, right? 18 things. And you're like,
to have a
and when one
perfect
goes bad,
day almost never happens. I mean, it never, and I'd say triathlon, especially as you get to the longer distances, are so much like life in general, because you have a plan, you work hard at it, you set things up and go, and then whatever happens, happens. Stuff happens.
And the Mike Tyson
just
punch
comes
hits.
there. And you're just like, and then what it is, you have to adapt. You have to adapt quickly, and you have to be able to change gears, and you have to go to, okay, plan B, plan C, plan D. I
didn't have a plan for this one.
Just keep pivoting. You just keep pivoting, right? You just pivot like until you get to the end, and then deal with the emotions afterwards. There's always emotions at the end of the race, especially if it doesn't go right. Or the way you were hoping, type of thing. It just makes it worse. So, wow.
It was a good it was a day, and it's been a day. It's been some days since then, so it was, but it was a good learning experience. Now I look back on it, and I'm excited for the next one.
So you popped out. You did a race after that, right? You did.
I did Music City.
Yeah, you did Music City.
The Music City in Nashville. And it was kind of a redemption. It was a redemption race. First off, the swim, it was a sprint. I did the sprint, and as you know, Tom, the swim was incredibly fast. It was like, the current was so fast. I was like, man, I was laughing when I was swimming. I was like, this is what it must feel like to be fast in the water. Just looking at these people, and they're just flying by, and you're like, what is going on? I am just not even really swimming that hard. And my bike was a little bit slower. I ended up having to use my road bike on the and I just was a little slower on it than normal, but I PR'd my run split by 6 minutes. So
nice.
There you go.
That's a lot for a 5K. I mean, that's non-trivial.
That's huge.
Yes. Because my fastest was at 36 minutes before, and this was a 30-minute run. So
that's great.
Which is my heart rate was way up there, but that's part of the sprint, right? It's as hard as you can go for it's
red line.
It's short. It's short. So go red line the whole way, right? But I'm still learning, and I'm still in it. It was kind of felt good. It felt like a good little short redemption race.
Nice.
But
kind of proof your training was good, right? Your training leading up to the race,
I had that it wasn't that. Exactly. Like I had everything there. It just didn't happen. It wasn't in the cards that day.
What's next for you?
So the next race was going to be Louisville. I have had to cancel that, and the reason why is because I have surgery on Monday. So this will be number 29 of surgeries. So they have to fix this hernia. I can't do another race, and it's a lot more so to do with being an aero and the crunch of where the stoma is, where the ostomy is at, and being in that position where the muscles are kind of cramped. It just puts too much pressure on that hernia, and it's basically causing me to have a lot of pain and bowel obstruction like symptoms. So I decided I need to get it fixed now, because I still want to do North Carolina in October. And he is unsure what surgery he's going to do. It could be a small one. It could be a big one. He won't know until he gets in there and actually figures out how to actually fix it. I just want it fixed right, so I don't have to do it again. And And
is there a possibility then you may need to just switch to road bike to try to lessen that?
Yes, it may end up. It depends on what it's like after I get back on the bike. I don't think I'm going to be able to. I'll be able to swim a little earlier than getting on the bike. The bike I will be able to spin, but I won't be able to do any kind of resistance, wattage kind of training until I'm fully released, which hopefully is going to be mid-August, and that'll give me.
So what is that, like 8 weeks, 10 weeks?
About 8 weeks. It's about 8 weeks. 8 weeks out from North Carolina. So I have about 8 weeks to bounce back for North Carolina, and which was going to be my A race. That was going to be the one I really try to, which at this point with the 2 other races, it won't be hard to actually beat the times, but but it's going to be more of a training, I don't think it's going to be as fast as I was hoping to be, because I was hoping to train all the way up to Louisville and continue to train into that. But that's part of it. So
you may find it may be your PR just for the sheer fact you're loose about it, right? Rather than so
it very well
headstrong towards that PR, and you just like things were loose and they happen the way they happen. I mean, switching to a road bike isn't going to, it'll have an effect, but it shouldn't be so significant that you're gonna.
I don't think it will. It just depends. It really depends on how he fixes it and how it feels afterwards. I have to buy new wheels for the tri bike. Yay, spending more money.
So we got to GoFundMe for.
It's
kind of a pathetic GoFundMe, isn't it? Like, are we starving children? Or no,
Brandon needs new wheels.
Exactly. New wheels, So,
and I kind of really want the carbon, zip 404. So if we could,
if anybody wants to donate, hit up Tom or Kenny and let me know.
Start it up.
But so we'll see what happens. I mean, I have a bit of a recovery. The good thing is I've been through this 28 other times, and my body is recognize how to heal quickly. So even if he ends up doing a laparotomy, it should still be about the same time of healing, even if it's a small surgery or a laparotomy. Because
we'll pray for you, obviously, and we're what makes this kind of crazy is there's not a whole lot of people that have to worry about 3 days of hospitalization after their races, yet you still do them, right? And I mean, the bad news is you had a lot of surgeries. The good news is what's going on, so you kind of know what's coming up, right? And it's not pretty and it's not fun. You chose to, you're choosing to do this because you're choosing to, I'm gonna lean into my life. I'm not gonna cower from it, right? So I mean, that's a huge testament to you. Obviously we want to keep you safe and make sure you make safe choices and that kind of stuff. So if you break your spoke again, you got 2025. So we're rooting for you, and good luck on your surgery, and we'll be thinking about you.
It's I'm excited to just get it fixed. Just get ready.
I'm sure.
And be back to it. And I'm looking forward to North Carolina. Like I'm really am. And then next year already starting to line up what I want to do next year. So
cool.
Which is
very cool.
Which is more. So
plugging at it. So, and we really appreciate you sharing all of this with us. I mean, this is fascinating. Totally impressed, with everything that you do and what you've gone through, and continue to keep pushing through. So always impressed with you, Brandon. It's fantastic, and appreciate you sharing with everybody. We will check in with you in a few weeks. I'm in the middle of your healing, see how the surgery went, and see how your healing's going and what your plans are. So we'll do all of that. So we'll make sure we'll have you on the schedule, check in again. Everybody, thanks for your questions, comments, thumbs up, 5 stars, all that great stuff. And you can hit us up on our YouTube channel, comments, Facebook, Instagram, send some questions. If you want to know some things, just send them in. So we'll get them to Brandon. We'll have them on the next time we have them on, as we follow through on our triathletes journey. We appreciate all of you, Brandon. Again, thank you. And for everybody else, we'll catch you on the next episode.